and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Call 256-245-4361 for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremations. Since the mid-70s, it is Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. In obituary news this morning, brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Edna Russell died last night, and Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga will announce the arrangements for Edna Russell, who passed away last night. Graveside service for Marion Camp Embry, age 98, of Sylacauga, will be Friday at 11 a.m. from Evergreen Cemetery. Brother Mike Kaiser officiating. Mrs. Embry died Wednesday, December 1st. She was a retired RN from Coosa Valley Medical Center. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Brother William Rayfield died on Wednesday. Brother Rayfield was a well-known minister in this area, in Sylacauga and Childersburg and Harpersville and those areas of Alabama, and longtime minister. And Brother William Rayfield was a good man, and he passed away yesterday. And he's suffered from diabetes for several years. And I'll tell you a truth, I've worked with him numerous times on funerals that I directed, and he was taking dialysis, and he had taken, I think, three times a week. But on the day he preached the funeral, he would take dialysis in the morning and come straight to the service and do the funeral for families. That's the kind of guy he was, and he'll certainly be missed. Funeral arrangements to be announced for Reverend William Rayfield. They'll be announced by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel. And Jarrett Ledford died on Monday at Brookwood Medical Center in Birmingham. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, will announce the arrangements. Ruth Tuck, age 85, of Alexander City, died Wednesday at her residence. Armour's Memorial Funeral Home, Alexander City, announcing. Wright's Funeral Home announcing the funeral arrangements for Miss Mary Vines, who died November 27th. And Mr. Walter Ralston Sr. died November 24th at Brookwood Medical Center in Birmingham. Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, announcing. Funeral ceremony for Pastor George Lewis Lauderdale, age 69, will be 1 o'clock Friday at St. John Baptist Church in Sylacauga, with Pastor Henry A. Sterling, the eulogist. Burial in the Sylacauga Cemetery. Public viewing today from 1 until 5 at the funeral home. S.M. Goodson Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Celebration of life for the Reverend for Lawrence D. Taylor, Jr., age 78, will be Friday, December 3rd at 11 a.m. from Tallahatchie Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery in Childersburg. The Reverend Frederick Jemison officiating. And also First Lady Mary Gregory died November the 29th. Funeral service will be 11 o'clock Saturday at Friendship Baptist Church, with interment following in the Sweet Home AME Church Cemetery in Greenville, Alabama. Visitation will be 4 until 6 on Friday at the funeral home. Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, directing that service. And Woodrow Woody Weissman, age 75, died November 29th at his residence. The family will hold a private memorial service at a later date. Radney Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. This obituary report this morning brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremations since 1975. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Call 256-245-4361. That's Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga,